Did you know that 60% of people have experienced betrayal by someone they trusted? It could be a friend, a partner, or even a colleague. But here's the shocking truth. Sometimes the habits we have, without even realizing it, can actually push people to betray us. Sounds crazy, right? Well, in this video, we're diving deep into the 7 habits that might be setting you up for betrayal, and how you can stop them before it's too late. Betrayal hurts. It leaves scars, breaks trust, and can make us question everything. But what if I told you that some of the things you're doing every day, habits you might not even notice, are unintentionally inviting betrayal into your life? Today, I'm revealing the 7 most common habits that make people betray you, and more importantly, how you can fix them. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to protect yourself and build stronger, healthier relationships. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt betrayed by someone you trusted? What do you think caused it? Drop a comment below and let me know. I'll be reading through them. And if you've ever wondered why people seem to take advantage of you or break your trust, stick around, because this video is for you. Habit 1. Being too trusting. Now, trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. But here's the problem. When you trust people too quickly or without setting boundaries, you're essentially handing them the keys to your emotional well-being. And unfortunately, not everyone deserves that level of access. Being too trusting doesn't mean you're a bad person. It often means you have a big heart. But in a world where not everyone has good intentions, trusting too easily can leave you vulnerable to betrayal. Here's why this habit is so dangerous. When you trust someone without really knowing them, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt before they've earned it. And while some people will honor that trust, others may see your kindness as an opportunity to take advantage of you. They might view you as naive or easy to manipulate, and that's when betrayal happens. Think about it. If someone knows you'll believe anything they say or forgive anything they do, what's stopping them from crossing the line? The truth is, being too trusting can unintentionally invite people to betray you because they know there won't be any real consequences. So, how do you fix this habit? It's simple. You need to set healthy boundaries and build trust gradually. Trust should be earned, not given away freely. Start by observing people's actions over time. Do they keep their promises? Do they respect your boundaries? Do they show consistency in their behavior? These are the signs of someone who deserves your trust. Another key is to communicate your boundaries clearly. Let people know what you expect from them and what you won't tolerate. This doesn't make you cold or unkind. It makes you smart. It shows that you value yourself enough to protect your emotional well-being. Here's a practical tip you can start using today. Adopt the trust but verify approach. This means you give people the benefit of the doubt, but you also pay attention to their actions to see if they align with their words. For example, if someone promises to help you with a project, trust that they mean it, but also verify by following up and seeing if they actually deliver. By doing this, you're not closing yourself off to trust, you're just being cautious. And over time, you'll start to see who truly deserves your trust and who doesn't. Habit 2. Ignoring red flags. We've all been there. You meet someone new and everything seems great at first. But then little things start to bother you. Maybe they make a rude comment, or they cancel plans last minute, or they seem overly controlling. These are red flags, warning signs that something isn't right. But instead of addressing them, many of us brush them off because we want to see the best in others. Ignoring red flags doesn't mean you're naive. It often means you're hopeful. You want to believe that people will change or that their good qualities outweigh the bad. But here's the hard truth. Ignoring red flags is like ignoring a check engine light in your car. Eventually, it's going to lead to a breakdown, and in relationships, that breakdown often comes in the form of betrayal. Here's why this habit is so dangerous. When you ignore red flags, you're essentially giving someone permission to continue their toxic behavior. You're sending the message that their actions are acceptable even when they're not. And over time, this can escalate into something much worse, like lying, cheating, or even emotional abuse. Think about it. If someone shows you early on that they're disrespectful, dishonest, or unreliable, why would they suddenly change? The reality is they won't. And by ignoring these warning signs, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. So, how do you fix this habit? It starts with learning to recognize red flags early on. Pay attention to how someone treats you and others. Do they respect your boundaries? Do they take responsibility for their actions? Do they make you feel valued and supported? These are the things that matter. Another key is to trust your instincts. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Your gut is often your best guide when it comes to spotting red flags. And if you're not sure, talk to someone you trust, a friend, family member, or therapist who can give you an outside perspective. Here's a practical tip you can start using today. Create a list of non-negotiable values and stick to them. These are the qualities and behaviors that you absolutely need in a relationship. Things like honesty, respect, and kindness. And if someone doesn't meet these standards, don't make excuses for them. Walk away. By having a clear list of what you will and won't tolerate, you'll be better equipped to spot red flags early on and avoid relationships that aren't healthy for you. Habit 3. Oversharing personal information. In a world where we're constantly encouraged to be open and authentic, it's easy to fall into the trap of sharing too much too soon. Whether it's with a new friend, a coworker, or a romantic partner, oversharing can feel like a way to build connection. But here's the problem. When you share deeply personal information before establishing trust, you're essentially handing someone the keys to your emotional safety, and not everyone deserves that level of access. Oversharing doesn't mean you're a bad person. It often means you're eager to connect. But in a world where not everyone has good intentions, sharing too much too soon can leave you vulnerable to manipulation, gossip, or even betrayal. Here's why this habit is so risky. When you share personal information with someone who hasn't earned your trust, you're giving them the power to use that information against you. They might share your secrets with others, use your vulnerabilities to manipulate you, or even weaponize your past against you in moments of conflict. Think about it. If someone knows your deepest fears, insecurities, or past mistakes, what's stopping them from using that knowledge to hurt you? The truth is, oversharing can unintentionally invite betrayal because it gives people ammunition they shouldn't have. So, how do you fix this habit? It's all about mastering the art of selective vulnerability and pacing in relationships. Selective vulnerability means being intentional about what you share, when you share it, and who you share it with. It's not about being closed off. It's about protecting your emotional well-being while still building genuine connections. Start by asking yourself, is this person trustworthy? Have they earned the right to know this part of my life? And most importantly, am I sharing this for the right reasons? Or am I just seeking validation or approval? By being mindful of these questions, you can avoid oversharing and build deeper, more meaningful connections over time. Here's a practical tip you can start using today. Use the layers of trust method. Think of your personal information as layers of an onion. The outer layers are things like your hobbies, interests, and favorite foods. These are safe to share early on. The middle layers might include your opinions, values, and light personal experiences. And the inner layers, your deepest fears, insecurities, and past traumas, should only be shared with someone who has proven themselves trustworthy over time. By sharing gradually as trust deepens, you're not only protecting yourself but also building stronger, more authentic relationships. Trust is earned, not given, and the same should be true for your personal information. Habit 4. Being a people pleaser. If you're someone who constantly says yes to others, even when it's at the expense of your own well-being, this one's for you. People-pleasing often comes from a good place. You want to be liked, helpful, and avoid conflict. But here's the hard truth. Constantly trying to please others can make you appear weak, desperate, or even invisible. And unfortunately, this can open the door to betrayal. Being a people-pleaser doesn't mean you're a pushover. It often means you care deeply about others. But when you prioritize everyone else's needs over your own, you're sending the message that your time, energy, and feelings don't matter. And over time, this can lead to resentment, burnout, and even betrayal. Here's why this habit is so dangerous. When you're always saying yes and putting others first, people may start to take you for granted. They might lose respect for you because they see you as someone who doesn't value themselves. And when people don't respect you, they're more likely to take advantage of your kindness, whether it's by asking for too much, ignoring your boundaries, or even betraying your trust. Think about it. If someone knows you'll always bend over backward for them, what's stopping them from crossing the line? The truth is, being a people pleaser can unintentionally invite betrayal because it teaches people that your needs don't matter. So, how do you fix this habit? It starts with learning to prioritize your own needs and say no confidently. This doesn't mean you have to stop being kind or helpful. It just means you need to set boundaries and make sure your own well-being comes first. Start by asking yourself, am I saying yes because I genuinely want to, or because I'm afraid of disappointing someone? If it's the latter, it's time to pause and reconsider. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Here's a practical tip you can start using today. Practice setting boundaries and standing up for yourself. The next time someone asks you for a favor or tries to push your limits, take a moment to think about what you really want. If you need to say no, do it politely but firmly. For example, you could say, I'd love to help, but I have other commitments right now, or I'm not comfortable with that, but thank you for understanding. By setting boundaries and standing up for yourself, you're showing others that you value yourself, and that's the first step to earning their respect. Habit 5. Not holding people accountable. If you're someone who avoids confrontation or lets people get away with bad behavior, this one's for you. It's natural to want to keep the peace and avoid conflict, but here's the problem. When you don't hold people accountable for their actions, you're essentially giving them permission to continue their bad behavior. And over time, this can lead to resentment, mistrust, and even betrayal. Not holding people accountable doesn't mean you're a bad person. It often means you're conflict-averse or overly forgiving. But when you let people off the hook too easily, you're sending the message that their actions don't have consequences. And unfortunately, this can make you an easy target for exploitation. Here's why this habit is so dangerous. When you don't hold people accountable, they may start to see you as a pushover. They'll realize they can get away with bad behavior, whether it's lying, disrespecting you, or taking advantage of your kindness, without facing any consequences. And when people know they can cross the line without repercussions, they're more likely to betray your trust. Think about it. If someone knows they can lie to you, disrespect you, or take advantage of you without facing any consequences, what's stopping them from doing it again? The truth is, not holding people accountable can unintentionally invite betrayal because it teaches people that your boundaries don't matter. So, how do you fix this habit? It starts with learning to address issues directly and enforce consequences. This doesn't mean you have to be harsh or confrontational. It just means you need to be clear, firm, and consistent when someone crosses the line. Start by addressing the behavior as soon as it happens. For example, if someone makes a rude comment, calmly say, "That comment hurt my feelings, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't speak to me that way." If someone breaks a promise, let them know how it affected you and what you expect moving forward. The key is to communicate clearly and enforce consequences if the behavior continues. Here's a practical tip you can start using today. Use the feedback sandwich method to address problems constructively. This method involves sandwiching constructive criticism between two positive statements. For example, start with something positive. I really value our friendship and the time we spend together. Address the issue, but when you cancel plans last minute, it makes me feel like my time isn't important to you. End with a positive. I know you're busy, and I'd love it if we could find a way to make plans that work for both of us. Positive. I value our friendship. Constructive. Canceling plans last minute hurts. Positive. Let's find a solution together. By using this method, you're addressing the issue in a way that's firm but respectful, which makes it more likely the other person will listen and change their behavior. Habit 6. Being overly dependent on others. If you're someone who relies heavily on others for validation, emotional support, or decision-making, this one's for you. It's natural to lean on the people we care about, but here's the problem. When you become overly dependent, it can push people away. Whether it's a friend, partner, or family member, relying too much on someone else can create an unhealthy dynamic that often leads to resentment and sometimes betrayal. Being overly dependent doesn't mean you're weak. It often means you're seeking connection and security. But when you rely on others to meet all your emotional needs, you're putting a heavy burden on them. And over time, this can strain even the strongest relationships. Here's why this habit is so dangerous. When you're overly dependent, people may start to feel overwhelmed, suffocated, or even resentful. They might feel like they're constantly responsible for your happiness, which can be exhausting. And when people feel this way, they're more likely to pull away, or in some cases, betray your trust to escape the pressure. Think about it. If someone feels like they're your only source of happiness or validation, what's stopping them from distancing themselves or even betraying you? The truth is, being overly dependent can unintentionally push people away and make betrayal more likely. So, how do you fix this habit? It starts with building self-reliance and emotional independence. This doesn't mean you have to stop leaning on others entirely. It just means you need to develop the ability to meet your own emotional needs and make decisions for yourself. Start by identifying areas where you feel overly dependent. Do you rely on others for validation? Do you struggle to make decisions on your own? Once you've identified these areas, take small steps to build your confidence and independence. For example, try making small decisions on your own, or practice self-soothing techniques when you're feeling anxious or insecure. Here's a practical tip you can start using today. Focus on self-care and personal growth to reduce dependency. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths and face masks. It's about taking care of your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Start by creating a daily self-care routine that includes activities like journaling, exercising, or meditating. These practices can help you build emotional resilience and reduce your reliance on others. Journaling. Reflect on your thoughts and feelings. Exercise. Boost your mood and confidence. Meditation. Practice mindfulness and self-soothing. Hobbies. Engage in activities that bring you joy. By focusing on self-care and personal growth, you'll not only become more self-reliant but also build healthier, more balanced relationships where you can give and receive support without feeling overwhelmed. Habit 7. Not valuing yourself enough. If you've ever felt like you don't deserve better or tolerated mistreatment because you didn't think you were worth more, this one's for you. Low self-esteem can quietly sabotage your relationships, making you more likely to attract toxic people or tolerate behavior that hurts you. And unfortunately, this often leads to betrayal. Not valuing yourself doesn't mean you're weak. It often means you've been through experiences that made you doubt your worth. But when you don't see your own value, you're more likely to accept less than you deserve. And over time, this can create a cycle of mistreatment and betrayal. Here's why this habit is so dangerous. When you don't value yourself, people may mirror the lack of respect you have for yourself. If you tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or mistreatment, others will think it's okay to treat you that way. And when people see that you don't stand up for yourself, they're more likely to take advantage of you, or even betray your trust. Think about it. If someone knows you'll accept less than you deserve, what's stopping them from crossing the line? The truth is, not valuing yourself can unintentionally invite betrayal because it teaches people that your boundaries don't matter. So, how do you fix this habit? It starts with building self-worth and setting higher standards for how you're treated. This doesn't mean you have to become arrogant or demanding. It just means you need to recognize your own value and refuse to accept anything less than you deserve. Start by identifying your strengths, accomplishments, and the qualities that make you unique. Write them down and remind yourself of them daily. Then, set clear standards for how you want to be treated. For example, decide that you won't tolerate dishonesty, disrespect, or manipulation, and stick to it. When you value yourself, you teach others to value you too. Here's a practical tip you can start using today. Practice daily affirmations and surround yourself with positive influences. Affirmations are positive statements that help rewire your brain to believe in your worth. For example, say things like, I am worthy of love and respect, I deserve to be treated well, or I am enough just as I am. Repeat these affirmations every morning or whenever you need a confidence boost. I am worthy of love and respect. I deserve to be treated well. I am enough just as I am. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is equally important. Betrayal hurts, but it doesn't have to be a recurring theme in your life. By recognizing these habits and taking steps to fix them, you can protect yourself and build stronger, healthier relationships. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect, kindness, and honesty. And the first step to getting that is valuing yourself enough to set boundaries and demand better. You have the power to change your habits, your mindset, and your life. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We're all about personal growth, self-improvement, and building healthier relationships here, and I'd love for you to be part of this community.